And we're live.
Looks like
Yo, this is the In Your Face show. And I'm here with my main man, my good man, Mr. Roosevelt Pitt Jr. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing
Introduce
fine.
yourself.
I'm doing fine. My name is again, as he eloquently said, Roosevelt Pitt Jr. I'm doing well, man. I've been looking forward to this for days. So I have this is my first time on your In Your Face show. So I am ready to chop up game with you, my brother, and talk comics, talk my career, and just let it flow.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Look, bro, like, hey, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you on here, man. And I look, man, I've been following you for years, bro. For years, man. And we knew each other back in the day. And like, yo, I'm excited. Let's just get the going. Let's get this thing rocking. Get it going, get it going.
All right.
So, um, where did you find the inspiration for the perch?
Well, so many different places, again, I don't mind sharing my age. I'm 56 years old now, so I've been in the business of comics and people flying around with capes for more than 30 years now. And one of the things that I always enjoyed growing up was watching, the typical superheroes on television. Superman, Batman, Adam West, back in the early '60s. Back when I only had a black and white television, getting up in Saturday mornings and with my bowl of cereal and just sitting there waiting for the cartoons to start or watch already or waiting for George Reeves Superman to come on, and so that was one of my biggest inspirations because that's all we had back then to be inspired to be heroes. But when it came down to it, brother, I said to myself one day as a child, one of my favorite stories is running around with a towel around my neck, pretending I'm Superman or Batman. And I remember stopping in front of one of my mother's full length mirrors. And I looked at myself with my hands out on my hips with the Superman pose, and my chest stuck out. And something dawned on me, something dawned on me and said, I don't look anything like Superman. Superman
Oh
was,
man.
Superman was someone who was courageous. He never lied. He always looked out for the people that he cared about, which was his city and metropolis. People looked up to him. He was adored. But I didn't see that in the mirror. You see?
Right.
So as time moved on, as I got older, and became an adult, I said to myself, I want to be able to change that. And since no one else was really out there promoting black led characters, especially black men, the way I wanted to do it, I decided that I was going to, embark and do it myself. And that was back in the early 90s, 92, 93. I decided, you know what, I want to create my own character who has the strength of character, the moral standards of a Superman or a Batman, that when people look at him, they will see a person of true high moral value, you know, that wasn't a typical once upon a time ex-con, you know,
Right.
that perhaps I can tell a story about a black man or a black woman who graduated top of their class, who was an expert in mathematics, engineering, technology, and then somehow by some mishap or misfortune, or maybe just fortunate, to obtain abilities that they decide to use to help other people. And to me, that was such a simple concept. I really didn't understand why it wasn't done more of or before me. Then the other thing that inspired me was a simple question. And now I'm assuming you were a bit younger than I am, so you probably can do better with this than some of us old heads. But I would ask a simple question: name me a black superhero.
Okay, Blade,
Blade, okay.
Spawn,
Spawn,
Luke Cage, not
Luke
yeah,
Cage,
Luke Cage.
hmm
Um, Black Panther,
okay. That's
and I
okay. So how many is that? How many is that so far? I'm not counting.
Cyborg. That's
Sorry.
like that's like five.
Okay. Any others you can think of off the top of your head? I'm asking you to go through this exercise for a reason.
I would say Bishop.
Okay.
Bishop is one.
You got
Another
Bishop,
one.
but you had to think about it, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's switch it over. Let's name some white superheroes. Let's see how quickly you can count them off.
Wolverine, Venom,
Boom,
Thor, Hulk,
boom,
Spider
boom,
Man,
boom,
Batman,
boom,
Hulk,
boom.
all of them characters.
There
Goddamn
you go.
shit.
There you go. Now, see, why is that, brother? Why is it that it takes us a moment to name black characters, even those that are considered mainstream, but the white ones come up, roll off our tongues just like that? Well, it's a
True.
thing called
Very true.
marketing and PR, putting them out there in front of the populace and the masses. So we have these white characters that have been pushed for years by white corporate America to promote white superheroism. But black superheroism is rarely given the same type of financial push or interest. Keep in mind, the Black Panther movie wasn't that long ago. You mentioned Blade in a previous conversation that we had. I remember we discussing Blade. Now, Blade came out what, 90s, 96, 97, somewhere along
Hmm.
there. We
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
wait until the 2000s to get Black Panther.
yeah.
That's
That's
crazy to
crazy.
me. That's crazy. Now, there were some other fledgling movies in between, like Hancock, which I didn't really give much credence to. But for the most part, when it comes to black superheroes, strong black leads, they are far and few between. And for me, brother, that's a disservice to our people when we have to wait 50 to 60 years just to see someone look like us on the big screen and to make sure that the person is not misrepresented, you know? But that's what we have to deal with when we are relying on white corporate America or media or Hollywood to do us justice. They never really are going to do us justice. They're never really. Because even if they give
Right.
us something that is considered positive, like Black Panther, look how long we're still waiting for the next one. And I guarantee you, they're going to throw in something that's going to bring down the quality as far as how we look at black men specifically. And, rest in peace, Brother Chadwick, who passed away. You know, I wish that he was still around. I think that if he was, they may had give definitely. I think they would have given Black Panther hope, as I hope. Um, the positive content. That they did the first one. I'm not going to hold my breath. But anyway, my thing is, brother. I want to be able to be that creator that continually promotes Black excellence in my comic books and my stories, backed with historical context, backed with African principles and moral sensibilities. That's very important to
True.
me. And that's my calling. And I've been doing that since the 90s.
And see, okay, this is the show. You see that? You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? This is the show where for that. This is the show for that where it's putting a spotlight on people who haven't had the spotlight in years, who haven't been seen. You got the Marvel and DC creators. What about the Roosevelt Pitts, the Chris Williams, the China McCoys, the all those guys that's been out with those guys? What about you guys? You know, what about giving y'all the spotlight? What about and instead of y'all getting the spotlight, it was shunned and not given. And so I understand. I very much understand. That's why I created this show, to build this show on the basis of giving those a spotlight that nobody knows about
Right.
or knew about, but never got the chance to really get known. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, so how many years have you been doing this?
30 plus years now, nonstop for the most part.
Okay, 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 okay.
I did take a hiatus for a few years because of children. I had a
Mhm.
pretty big family. So I took a breather, but I returned to my roots, so to speak, around 2010, 2012. And I've been going ever since, for the most part. It hasn't been an easy road. Self-publishing isn't for the light of heart, as they say, but it is very rewarding because I've been able to work with a lot of wonderful talent. I've been able to learn a lot of things on my journey as far as production is concerned and character development. Um, my writing
You
has increased and expanded from writing comic books to movie scripts. So it has been quite a beneficial journey, even though there have been a few precarious moments along the way.
Truth, truth, truth. So, okay, where do you see the comic book industry going? What path?
Well, I believe the comic book industry, I'm not going to say it's never going to die, but I don't believe it's going to die easy. Let me just put it that way. There's so much creativity out there. And look how well Marvel and Disney have done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know? And the Marvel Cinematic Universe in itself is very huge. There's still stories they haven't even touched, like Man Thing, one of my favorites, um, back in the day. Nova, I think they're going to be doing something with the character Nova. Um, what is it? What was one of the other favorites that I was thinking of? Um, oh God, now it escapes my. See, I don't think about Marvel as much as I used to. But there was one that I really liked. Um, that was a popular book. Um, of course, it was connected to Thor. Um, oh,
Okay,
Marvel 2-in-1. The Marvel 2-in-1 books.
okay,
When they have team ups. You know,
okay.
imagine them doing a live action Marvel 2-in-1 or Marvel team up. I mean, that would be
Mhm,
phenomenal. So
mhm.
there's so much there. So I don't see it dying because there's so much creativity to draw from, and of course, there's money to be made. Now,
Right.
now I will say that printed books seems to be dwindling because people like to go online and read it as PDFs. But I remember one friend of mine said to me, and he said it as a joke, but I think it has some validity. He says, digital is great, but just like a woman or a man who you love, your husband or your wife, you want to have the real thing in your hands. You want to be able to touch and feel it, something that's tangible. So
Right.
I believe that that's one of the benefits of having an actual comic book. It's tangible. You can set it up, put it in a bag, keep it for years, and hopefully the value will go up. Depends on the issue and the character, but I think it's going to be around for a while, to be honest, because there's more people, i.e., Hollywood types, other um, content, movie media creators who are looking for things like Purge, to use to build movies, live action, television. So I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So, what are the other characters besides Purge that connects? Do you have any characters that connect the Purge that has a resemblance to him?
Yes, I have over 100 characters in different storylines. I call it the Amara verse. So that's my comic books, hopefully soon to be a cinematic universe. There's Purge, there's Zentra, um, There's a character called Mukasa that teams up with Purge in a book that I've been working on for a few years called Crimson Seed. There's also a character that I created, um, Dynamo Azad, which is a Egyptian mech that has a boy as a pilot who's a genius, and they live in a city called Hermopolis in Africa near Kenya.
Right.
I have mystical characters. One of the characters called Erasto. He's a mystic that basically um, his powers are derived from all of the African gods, um, and he's sort of like their uh, not like a catalyst, but a conduit in order to help keep balance between, of course, good and evil, even though sometimes they can be blurred. Then I have a character called Omari, which for the most part, people would look at him and say that he's a Superman archetype. But his story is much different. He actually was a enslaved man who led a revolt against his slave masters. And during that battle, he was abducted by aliens who took him away. And then when he came back to Earth, he had all these powers and abilities. But he had the memories of the revolt when he were fighting to free his people to escape from the plantation. So again, I always, for the most part, utilize a lot of historical context in ways that most mainstream media will not, because of fear of maybe alienating certain people, or just simply because they don't want to tell a black positive story that could outshine one of their white heroes. That's why the majority of the time in the early 50s, 60s, and so forth, majority of the black heroes were always sidekick to the white ones.
Mm, okay. That's true. That's true. So where do you see Purge taking off? Where do you see it going?
Well, I've always said that I believe that putting good energy out, brother, brings good energy in. You know,
Yes, sir.
that's my own philosophy, and I've been putting 30 years of good energy into this. So, to answer your question, movies, uh,
Okay. Okay.
television, cartoons, um, apparel, Purge T-shirts, Purge hoodies, global expansion of the brand. It has that ability and definitely has that potential. Um, and even though everyone really don't realize that Purge exists yet on a global scale, there are enough that do know that Purge exists that the word is getting out about who Purge is, his legacy, as well as his story, and why he exists, and the actual positive aspect of the character, as well as his story, gives him strength and the ability to reach many different type of people because he can relate to almost anyone. So
True that.
Purge is going to be huge, and with him, all of the other characters that I just mentioned to you prior, is connected to his story, will also have their moment in the sun.
True. Hey, hey, more power to that shit. We need more. We need more. You know what I mean? We need more power characters like that, man. Um, so how like okay, let me form out my question, you know what I'm saying? Let me act because I don't wanna be too nosy.
Go ahead. You know, he's too
Nah.
popular. I can always plead the fifth.
All right. How man, like what did you were you out when the internet was out when it first started?
I'm afraid so. Yes, I'm that
Oh,
old. I was here before the internet. Yes, sir. I remember when the internet launched.
oh man. Oh, okay, so what was the first like how many comic copies have you what was the first set of copies that you sold?
Well, before the internet, There was what we call beating the bushes, going on foot, talking to people face to face, which I do miss. I have no issue with the internet in a way, but I believe the internet has caused us to be more impersonable. But I understand its benefits, like what you and I are doing now. You live one place, I live another. The chance of us meeting one another can be quite expensive or impossible based on where we could be located. So the internet has the ability to bring us together. But for me, there's nothing more satisfying to me being able to come to you, have lunch, sit down, look in your eyes, shake your hand, and talk comics. You know what I'm saying? So back in the
Yeah.
day, that's what I did. Okay. I literally have had my comic books in my trunk and drove around to different comic book shops, drove around to media television stations, and say, hey, look, I'm doing this comic book. I have it on. I have it for sale. Would you guys be interested in actually covering me for a story? And what I learned about the power of media is that when I went to a television station and they did an interview on me, and then it went across the airwaves, I had comic book stores calling me up left and right saying, "Hey man, we need your book," you know. And that's how we did it back in the olden days, as I tell my children. And I do miss that because being out among the people. Because what
Hmm.
I did mention earlier was that when I first started my business, and when I asked you that question about how many black superheroes you know, and vice versa, I literally was on the street, brother, with a little microphone and a recorder, tape recorder, stopping people in the middle of the
Wow.
highway, middle of the intersection along downtown Greensboro, and just stopping and say, hey, ma'am, can I ask you a question? Sure. What are you doing? Well, I'm interviewing, I'm doing some research, I'm trying to determine if my business venture is really something that can be profitable, if there, and also to find out if there's a demand for it. So I would ask white, black, whoever, could you name me a black superhero? So again, similar to you, no one really could name a lot of them, maybe two, but they were naming white superhero after superhero. And what that taught me was there was a need for what I wanted to do. And that
Right.
fueled me to move forward and continue to work and produce.
You know, I have an actual character coming out called Smoke, but I haven't put him out yet. Haven't really, what I'm saying, done much to him. But I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll talk to you about that a little later.
All right.
But um, what I want to ask you, man, is when it comes to black superheroes, right?
Yes, sir.
How many, okay, who are your favorite superheroes that you've thought about, that you've grown up watching?
Now, are we talking about in general or are we talking about black superheroes?
Black superheroes.
Well, for me, believe it or not, it was Luke Cage Power Man. I'm,
Okay, okay.
I'm big on titles. A little secret about me, whenever I have created any superhero, I start with the name first. Because if the name is catchy, people will remember it. It'll roll off the tongue. Then I kind of work from there. So Power Man was, well, powerful, and I'm like, man, this guy is awesome. He's still hard skinned. He actually went toe to toe with the Hulk. He cracked Iron Man's armor in one of the issues. And especially when John Byrne drew him for a few issues, because John Byrne was one of my favorite artists back in the day. I always wanted to be Power Man, just simply because of the name, you know,
Yeah. Hmm.
um, like Superman, Power Man. It's like, all
Right.
right, I can roll with that. I can roll with that. I can roll with that. Now I didn't care for Luke Cage's backstory, to be honest. But what can you do when you're young and you're a kid? You kind of have to take what you can get. But it
Yeah.
inspired me. But it inspired me to do better for when I started to create. But Power Man is probably one of my favorites.
Okay. Like, have you been to any of the conventions lately?
Not since COVID, brother. I haven't. And I'm not sure exactly when I'll be back at conventions. I got some really things popping right now that I don't really have privy to talk about, but they're going to be exciting. And they really have taken a lot more of my time, and they will as things continue to grow and bear fruit. But I'm
Hmm.
hoping to get back slowly but surely. Now, having said that, I am going to do a small venue for Free Comic Books Day on May the 7th of this year in
Okay.
Winston-Salem. For those who are listening who are in North Carolina, I will be there May 7th at the Free Comic Book Day at Sailfish Comics. That's SALE Fish Comics in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'll be there for the whole duration, and I will have the newest Purge issue 2 there for sale for those who are interested. Come on out and check me out. But that will probably be the only one that I would do for now. But I'm hoping that as this project I'm working on with Purge continues to blossom, I'm going to be doing more.
Right, right, right. And I think would be the best place to really sell would be the mall. The
Why is that?
mall.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because millions of people go in and out of the mall each day, right?
Okay.
White, black, green, blue. Millions of people go in and out of the mall, in and out of the mall. And 90% of those people are into comic books, right? And they see your character, they be like, what's this character? Who is he? And you out there selling, you out there talking to the people, you out there asking the people, and hey, they may come up to the table, and you may get a kid come up to the table and be like, hey, mom, I want to, may come up to you and be like, mom, I want to pop there, sir, I want to know about your character, or, you know what I'm saying, or to ask his mom to buy it. He may feel inspired. You just never know what that person may get, and you know what, get out of it. And to me, thinking to me, Purge would do awesome in a place in a big environment like that because you never know who's coming, or you never know. Hey, you may even sell out that day. You never know.
But let me ask you now. I don't know. I'm sorry. Where are you? Where do you reside? If you don't mind me asking, are you in what
I'm
state?
in it. I'm in Camden, New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey. Okay. Well, of course, I'm in North Carolina now. I don't know what it is like in New Jersey, but it seems here that malls are basically non-existent. I mean, everything is strip stuff. So I don't really have a lot of malls that I can think about nearby that I can go to and have that type of influx of people. I'm not saying it's not possible or it's not realistic, but I'm wondering, maybe I need to come to New Jersey, hit one of those malls because the malls
I
here,
know.
still around. Not a lot of people are in them.
I actually know a mall that you can maybe sell through. Like a Cherry Mall. And
Okay,
hey, I may just come down there and may basically interview you again. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You never know what we could do,
I understand.
Because you know, me as a person, I want to give people something that they never had, like something, put a smile on people's faces nowadays.
Right.
And like just bring love and bring happiness. That's what my show is all about. Just bring happiness to this world, man, and some color to it.
Well, I have no problem with that, brother. I mean, with everything that's been happening with COVID and so forth and so on, a little joy can't hurt, and a little laughter is definitely healing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, man. That's why like selling it out your truck and all that. That's awesome. That's old school. That's old school.
Oh
But
no,
you also know, what I'm saying. Think about it. You never know. I would say you can hang up your T-shirts and stuff like that. The mall, the shops and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying. You even got the flea market. You know what I'm saying. The flea market. That's a lot of people go through there. Lots of people selling their stuff. You got the all places where you can sell that many people. I say this to people: the mall is a place where people think it's unusual to sell a comic book, but
hmm
I've seen people sell jewelry. I've seen people sell sneakers, sell paintings, sell. portraits, sell all kinds of stuff, and make a killing off of it. Why not sell comic books? That could be another venue that people can go to be their moneymaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because and you never know who you're going to meet. You may even meet somebody, one of your people that you looked up to. You may even meet one of the artists that you've looked up to as a child. You just never know.
Yeah. You never can tell.
Never know. Okay. So okay. Are there any struggles in the industry that you've went through that you hold on? Yeah. Are there any struggles that you've went through in the industry?
Well, again, I think I alluded to it earlier. Self-publishing is not for the faint of heart. So, and just being an entrepreneur, period, um, isn't for everyone. I mean, there are days that you don't know if you're gonna make any money, but you're still out there pushing. There are days you
Hmm.
have days that you sell out at conventions. There are days that I've been in conventions, spent $300 or $400 to have a table, and didn't sell one book. So, I mean, the struggle is real, as they say. And
Right. It's very real.
and I'm not gonna shy away from it. Being a black creator in itself, especially the content that I prefer to put out there, isn't something that white mainstream media, the majority of the time, didn't want to support. I think times have changed since Black Panther in the movie. But back early in my career, they clearly was adamant and constantly told me that black didn't sell, which was a lie. I mean, that's a lie that's been going on for years, for basically decades and decades. But that is what I was faced with. Well, your characters have too many black people in them. You need to throw in a white character and an Asian character, and you know, then maybe we'll look at it. I'm like, nah, that's not what I want to do. That's not what my story's about. You know, well, that's too many black people. We don't, no one's going to buy that. And I said, that's not true. And one of my arguments was, then why did the black exploitation era do so well? They had all black characters.
Hmm.
Dolomite. You know, now granted they had more of a comedic aspect to them, but they were mostly all black, and they did.
Right.
In other words, black always does well. Period. It only doesn't do well when we are the one primary benefiting from it. You see,
Right.
that's
And
when white media says, "Well, it doesn't sell." Well, you saying it doesn't sell because you're not getting the lion's share. And since I wasn't willing to give them the lion's share, it took me a longer road to get where I am now with it. But I stuck in there. I didn't compromise, and I didn't allow anyone to soften my resolve. And I kept my eye on the prize, and I kept my mission to my heart, my purpose, and I've been doing it ever since, brother. And I'm telling you, my position is I would just die doing what I know is right for my people, as far as when it comes to positive black representation. Because if I die, it doesn't matter anyway. So I'm going to do it until I do. And if I get a wonderful movie deal that's exorbitant and purges all over the globe, great. Or if he's going to be local and he's able to help a few people, a few black people to understand their worth, then that's okay too. I'm still a winner in my book.
that's right. That's right. And I think that people see nowadays a lot of people don't pick up the books because they don't know the character. Well, I say get to know the character. You know, get to know the character, and it's like this. Okay, they were like, because us indie guys, indie creators,
Mhm.
we get a lot of we get passed over because we don't have the audiences and all the people that's what I'm saying that wants our books. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at it like this, we're working hard to get where the big guys are, man. Being an artist is hard. Being a writer is hard to come up with stories that are unique. But You see Marvel and DC doing stupid shit. You see Marvel and DC recycling story after story after story after story after story after story, and they're making tons of money off of it. Why is that? Because people, you have people that, to be honest, they're stuffing it down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Making you like, I wouldn't be surprised if people don't start throwing it back up. You know?
Well, the thing is, too, but you have to understand that there's one thing that white media understands is the power of repetition, my brother. So when you are putting Superman on screen as a movie, as a cartoon, as a comic book, in commercials, since the early what 30s, I forgot when Superman came into existence. That's a lot of time to promote the positiveness of whiteness. Okay, um, so throughout all those years, it's understandable why people gravitate to DC or Marvel. They've been around for a long time, and they have the money or have had the money to continually promote their images, which are mostly white. You see, and but what's great about today and the time that we live in, simply about what you are doing right now with me, your in your face show, you're able to do it on your own without asking any white person for any type of money or assistance. You just decided to do it, and you're doing it. Well, with the internet, you can reach, and I have reached people across the globe with my content. And I didn't have to go through anyone, or as you would appreciate, I didn't have to kiss anybody's ass to do it.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
And
Kiss
that,
no ass.
and that is what power is all about. And for some, that's scary when it comes to black people, and then they begin to exert their power. And that's what I'm all about, exerting my power
Right,
as a creator.
right. I'm the type of person, I ain't kissing nobody ass to get where I want to be. I'm gonna get there whether you with me or you're not. That's it. You know what I mean?
And believe it or not,
I,
brother, that brings respect, whether some may not admit it or not. There's respect that you and I and people like us are willing to do what we feel we need to do to elevate our stories, black people, whatever your particular, get down is. If you're willing to sacrifice to get it done and be willing to say, nope, I'm not going to allow any other agenda to hinder me. This is my agenda. For me, it's black empowerment, period.
that's right.
Nothing else matters. Anything else, nah, I'm not interested in that because that's going to derail me. That's going to hinder me. So my content has always been black-led superheroes, black empowerment, positive reinforcement of ideals and moral values that black people can exhibit, that people look at it and say, wow, I want to be like Purge, or maybe your character. I want to be like Smoke,
Jarhead.
you know.
Smoke.
Um,
Jarhead.
yeah, go ahead. That's what's important, and,
All right.
and once we accomplish that, yeah, now we've made it. At least that's my philosophy.
Well, and see, this is the thing too. It's like hatred today. Jealousy. That's why it's like, to be honest with you, like, that's what I can't stand about the industry. Like, there's so much hatred and so much jealousy in the industry. Like, why are you focused on another person? You're wasting your old sweet old time focused on me or focused on you, and you not even creating your own content. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like they want to derail us and put us down for what we do and how we do it. They don't even have time to do their shit. And I learned that, and I'm like, wow. If I could get you to hate me, then I'm very powerful. I could get you to do anything. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. And that's I don't it's like hatred in this world is it's like it's even like hatred. Like, I just can't stand it. because we're supposed to be here for here in love and not hate. You know what I mean? I just
Well,
don't get it.
well, I get it. I mean, again, I've been around for a minute, and I understand the power of utilizing people's emotions in order to manipulate and move them from one place to the other. You know, because if we're all hating one another, or all always in conflict all the time, there's not much time to think. Think about it. If I'm keeping you stomping out fires left and right, when do you have time to think about being creative or think about maybe where the real enemy is? You see what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm just speaking in general terms here. So the hatred is just one more tool to keep us off our game and our focus so that we're not focusing on what we should be when it comes to, as far as I'm concerned, uh, black oppression in America. You see, if I'm arguing with you and you're arguing with me about whatever, you know, then we're not able to focus on what's really causing our issues. It is not you and me. I have no control over you. I can't stop you from getting a job or creating laws that can hinder you from publishing your book or whatever. And I'm being a little facetious here, but I'm also being, upfront and honest. I don't have that kind of power. So why am I arguing with you? I should
Right.
focus on the people who I know are oppressing me. You see what I'm saying? So that's
Hmm.
how that works. That's how that works. It's all a distraction. But I believe that we, specifically Black people who are, as you say, waking up, I think are understanding that more. And they are making strides to make changes, which is great, but everybody has their talent. Mine is writing in creative way and superheroes. So I use that as my tool, my venue, to hopefully get people to understand that Black people specifically in this country we call America, um, one, have a lot to offer. Two, have many positive attributes. And three, as a foundation of Black American, well, we built this country hands down. So, and we're creative, engineering, mathematics, medicine, so many things that we brought from Africa. I mean, I'm not even going into history about the Moors and how they went into Europe and helped them to turn their lives around so they wasn't dying left and right. There was Black people bringing medicine and the concept of alcohol to the Europe world that had no idea what that was to keep themselves clean. Why aren't those stories being told? You see
I
what I'm saying?
understand.
Why are those stories being told and taught? But apparently we know why. That's too much positive attributes directed toward Black people that they would prefer to forget. Well, I'm here to tell you, in your face, I'm not going to let that happen as long as I live. I'm going to tell those stories. I'm going to research my
True.
history and weave it into my superhero themes and plots. But you're going to learn something once I'm done. And it may be subtle, it may not. But I believe that's, again, is my goal, my particular purpose. So that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, little interruption. One of my sons just walked in. But
It's
yeah,
very understandable.
but that's what I've lived for and continue to thrive towards.
Mm, that's awesome. It's awesome because you know, not only are we sitting here chatting, we're sitting here. I'm sitting here learning. I'm learning myself, and just to inspire me to do a lot better, a lot what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? You even give me ideas and stuff like that. This is awesome.
Well, man, we're supposed to be here to help each other to grow. I'm learning from you, even though I'm older. I never take a position. I know everything. Actually, I was telling my fiance not too long ago is that one of my ongoing saying is I don't know what I don't know.
Right, right, right,
Okay?
right,
And so I'm always open to learning and to be able to take that knowledge and use it in a constructive way. Even
right.
my own stories, or in this particular case, share with you that maybe you can leave with a smile on your face, brother, after this is done.
Right, right, right.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's how it should be. I believe in reciprocal. Good energy in, good energy out. That's that's
yeah.
that's my belief
I,
system.
iron sharpen iron. You know what I mean? I understand that very much. You know what I mean? And it's the way this whole industry is. Was you in the industry back in the day where the old saying you have to know somebody in order to get in?
Well, you know what? Fortunately, since I did my own thing, I never had to deal with that. See, I was always a self-publisher. So only one I have
Oh,
to make
okay.
sure that was on point is me. In other words, if I didn't get up and do what I need to do, a book is not going to be sold. So I was my own cheerleader for years, as far as that's concerned. You
All
know,
right.
um,
So,
I'm sorry,
what was your thought?
hold on
Uh
one
huh.
second, hold on one
Uh huh.
second. Okay, sorry about that. Had to send a quick message. Please
Not
continue.
a problem. Not a problem.
Apologies.
So, what is your thoughts on how, like, what would you tell the up and coming guys in the industry, up and coming female gentlemen, women, what would you tell them how to get into this industry, how to withstand the struggles that you've been through, and be how to have long longevity in this business?
Well, first, I would have to find out exactly what their goals are, brother. Most artists and writers that I've talked with over the years, their main dream and goal is to work for Marvel or DC. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Um, However, if you're going to be self-publishing, then that's where I live now, and I'll try to make it as short and sweet as I can because I know we're almost running out of time here. But um, if you're going to work for Marvel or DC as a writer or an artist, well, you have to take time to hone your craft. For writers, read scripts, read comics. I go to movies, not just for the entertainment value, but also to learn about dialogue, to keep myself up to speed on different not only dialects but slang. I mean, what I used to say back in the 70s, kids don't say anymore. It evolves so quickly. Back in my day, man, what's up? You cool? Well, now, it's like you fleek or something like that, and it changes and it changes. So I would say for a writer to write. That's the one thing I would say for a writer. Write, write, and write. Learn the formats and continually to read as well to understand how to set up a story, plots, subplots, and so forth. Okay. Now, when it comes to artists, I'm not an artist, but I will say I have been around so many. Some things I've picked up, and one of the things that I can throw out really quickly that I believe is very beneficial for any artist is to never show subpar work. Okay. If you have a portfolio,
Hmm.
right, and you're looking at your art, you say, oh man, that sucks. Oh, I don't like that one. Well, then you don't show those. You show your best every single time. And then get criticism, constructive criticism on that. You know, so it goes back to the typical philosophy of practice, practice, practice. And then again, I'm talking about those who are wanting to get into a Marvel or DC. Okay. Now, if you're self publishing, well, that can be a little bit harder, a little bit more precarious, a little bit more frustrating, um, but very rewarding because you are, how can I put it? You are setting a course and you're the one who's making up the rules. You see, the same type of work still has to go in, similar to what you would do if you wanted to get into a Marvel or DC. You should always hone your craft, whether it's a writer or an artist, and by seeking out other artists or writers who are better than you are, who you can learn from, is always important. But when it comes to self-publishing route, you have to know that all of the cost is coming out of your pocket. So
Yeah.
not only are you investing your time, but you have to invest your money too. And that can be a bit difficult for some, especially if the money is either not flourishing like they would like, or the cash flow isn't as steady, you know. But you start off slow and then you continue to grow. That's my philosophy, and that's what I would tell a writer or an artist who's willing or wanting to do it themselves and take the self-publishing route.
Okay. Okay. So, what other advice would you give to the people on first impressions?
Okay.
First impressions.
Elaborate.
Okay.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Elaborate. Okay. First impressions. You want to give your best work, no matter what it is, right?
Right. Right.
Because you may meet a editor that may see it and be like, "Hey, you may be the biggest. You may be the first, the next big thing."
Mhm.
Like Purge. Okay. Say like for example, you was going like the other route, like the route where you wanted to work for Marvel. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to put it in front of an editor. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You're like, okay, you could be one of the big artists coming out of Marvel and DC. You never know. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? First impressions is always what you need, what you want, because you never know if you mess up, you may not get another chance. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
I got you.
First
Sure.
impression is always the impression that you leave on a person. It's like a girl. You're gonna want to give her a first impression. You know what I'm saying? The best impression. Make that impression the best impression you leave on her. Because what if you fuck up and do some dumb shit and you ain't get the girl? You know,
Mhm.
you don't lost out. That
Well,
stuff like that. You know what I mean?
well, let me add something to that. What you said brought something to mind. No doubt, you want a first good impression. If you're going to show your artwork or you're going to show your writing, like I said earlier, you always give your best. Okay. But the one thing that I wanted to add to that is the word consistency. Okay.
Exactly.
Have
Be
to be
consistent.
consistent. So if using your analogy, if I met this young woman and I had a wonderful first impression, and she's like, oh my God, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, I need to keep that up. I need to be consistent, you see. And
Right. Right.
the way that's going to happen is that if I'm genuine, you see, with my writing, or in an artist's case, his art. In other words, it takes work to be consistent, so that hopefully, when the young lady sees me again, she'll say, "Wow, you were great yesterday, but boy, today you're better." You see, and I think that's important. I'm using that
Mm-hmm.
analogy to translate it over to art or writing. My writing should be better each time I write a story. It shouldn't. It shouldn't dwindle in quality. It should increase in quality, as I should
Right.
as a person, as you should as a person. You know,
Right.
if possible, and that comes about by learning. You know,
Right.
so that's my advice.
Oh, okay. Okay. There you go. Shit. You know what I mean? you know, it's been awesome, man. Talking to a big guy, one of the big guys in the industry. You know what I'm saying? It's been a blast. It's been a blast. It's been an honor to have you on the show.
But I appreciate that. I do. And I
How
appreciate.
was how was your how was your time? Well, what did you feel on the show? How did you felt good, huh?
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, again, man, I've been looking forward to being on this since we spoke months and months
Hold
ago.
on.
So this was a wonderful opportunity to me to get um, people to know who I am, who may not be aware of Purge or the fact that I even exist. So this platform allows me to reach more people, and that's always a good thing. And you've been a wonderful host. Your energy is on point, my brother. So I can't speak anything other than give you the accolades, brother. I mean, and I hope that you'll have me back.
Hey, I'll have you back anytime you want, man. Just let me know when you're ready.
All right. Well, look, I'm gonna keep you in my digital Rolodex in the old head because I got some things popping. And once they get submitted,
Oh,
I would definitely want to reach out to you and let you know.
okay, okay. Hey, you heard it first, y'all. You heard it first, y'all. Hey, but we ran out of time at the moment. I just want to let y'all know. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is a It was a blast having this guy, having Roosevelt Pitt, one of my biggest role models in the industry. One of my biggest guys that I looked up to. Hey, man, it's all in the arms, man. It's all in what you dream of and putting it in work, putting that work in, and eventually you're going to get where you want to be. So
Well, let me say
I want to
this
thank y'all. Go
real
ahead, go
quick.
ahead, go ahead.
Say this before we go. For those who may want to find me, my website is amaraentertainment.com. That's amaraentertainment.com. I'm on Instagram, Roosevelt Pitt Purge. You can find me there. And Twitter, if you do Twitter, I honestly don't do it as much as I should, but be that as it may, I'm at Twitter on Crimson Seed One. That's my Twitter handle, Crimson Seed One. Come check me out. And of course, I'm on Facebook. You can easily find me there. And again, King Daniel, my hats off to you, sir. I appreciate you allowing me to share my story.
Hey, man, it's always a blast, man. I don't mind it. Shit, like I told you, hey, let your hair down, relax, and just have fun, man. That's all I expect. You know what I mean? That's all I wanted, man. So to the end, y'all. This is an in your face show, and we out. Peace.
Later.